So, good morning, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. This is Parashat Pekudei. So, usually we don't have Pekudei to itself. Usually, Pekudei is combined with Vayakhel. Baruch Hashem, this year all the parashut are separated, so we have more time to expand on each parasha. If you look carefully, about 5 parashiyot all talks about Mishkan. Study Truma, Tesaveh, half of Kitisa, first part of Kitisa, and then Vayakel and Pekudei. 4.5 to 5 parashiyot is the Mishkan, the construction, the Tzivui, the commandment of Hashem to Moshe. Vayakel was Moshe's report to Jews and asking for construction materials, which was at the time gold, silver, copper, wool, linen, and also talented people. Wool and linen cannot combine together. Get somebody to sew it. Gold jewelry, a lot of diamonds. So that was Vayakel. Now Pekudei is the aftermath. How much they actually collected, how much it was used, how much was left over.
The mirrors,
the
mirror for the woman.
Right, the cure. So I pointed out something. Why did Moshe Rabbeinu have to actually say how much you raised? Why do you have to actually report? Why did the Torah need to give a report on how much Moshe Rabbeinu? So the very famous generation, or the funny people, comedians, people who made fun of everything. They made fun of Moshe Rabbeinu. You think Moshe Rabbeinu doesn't have the gold in his house? Go look at his tent. His wife is wearing all the jewelry that he donated. His kids are going to graduate best colleges with our money. You see what cars he's driving, it's all our money. Moshe said, even though nobody would dare question Moshe, but because he didn't want to, let that there's an idea of Vahitim Nikim. You have to be clean, right? You have to show that I'm clean. I'm not stealing money from it, even though you are not. If people suspect you, especially if people are making fun of you, show the report. This is how much we made. This is how much we spent. Everything is transparent. Accounting. That's exactly what it's for. An audit. Self-audit. You audit yourself to show that I'm not a thief. I'm not taking anything for myself. So now, a regular leader, you need to audit, right? But Moshe Rabbeinu, who would dare do that? Everything we believe in is because of Moshe Rabbeinu. He's the source. Not Khakshoor is the source, but he's the main connection with us and God. And you have to audit him. You have to show that he's clean. So Midrash says that's the power of Litsanut, clown, being funny, right? Making fun of something. A person could doubt anything with making fun. Meaning, if you say somebody is a thief, no one's gonna believe you. But if you start making fun of it, people are gonna start believing you, right? Nobody dares, by the way, that's the Chazal said that was the midah of Esav, right? Vayivez et habechora. He brought bizayon. He lowered the level of bechora. Nobody would give up. Firstborn right, that was a big thing at the time. Have you seen any president giving up the second term besides Biden? Nobody was, right? He was pushed to do it. Nobody wants to. Bechora means the leadership. He gave it up. He sold it for a cup of soup. He couldn't do it, right? Because people will make fun of him. What did he do? He made fun of it. He brought bizayon. Then he sold it. It's worth nothing. I can sell it for a bowl of soup, bowl of lentils, right?
It was these lentils.
Yeah, it was great lentils. That's why he was worth. Depends who you ask, but I love the lentils too. So that's what they did, to Koach of Esav is to make fun. Amalek is associated the same midah of making fun, right? Bringing down the values. If this is worth it, you can't say Kiddusha is not worth it, Jewish is not worth it, But if you make fun of it first, then you could announce that we can go to war, we can destroy. You don't have to, support it. What is this? It's nothing. First, you have to make fun, right? You have to bring it down. Vayivez, you have to bring bizayon to it. That's what some clowns, some comedians did to Moshe Rabbeinu. Even Moshe Rabbeinu felt threatened. So I'm going to give the report. I don't want anybody to believe this. The Lashon Hara. That's what is the Pekudei. So now, why we have 5 times in the Torah? Many things Hashem could have said. This is what I asked Moshe to do. Moshe did it, right? And great job. Kasher Siva, one time. But you have to repeat the same story 5 times, 5 parshas. One he told Moshe, then Moshe told Jews, and then Jews did it. But why Hashem has to write so long? I mean, the Torah could have been much shorter than what it is now, if you didn't have all the report. Could they say once? Who cares how much money was raised, how much money was used, who did what? Is it relevant to us now that we know what it was even? So my Rav said, you see, from here, that whatever is important to people, they talk about it a lot. Most people in the world, politics are important. Economic is very important. It's about money, stock market, real estate, wars, a leak, in a war plans, classified, unclassified, whatever it is. What is important is all the news. What is important to Hashem, to Moshe and the Jews at the time was Mishkan. That was their life. That was the news of the day. They talk about every day. What happened today, Moshe? Hashem told me this. And now what are we going to do? We're going to raise money for it. Now you have to raise this. Now you have to do this. You have to do that. Something is important. It shows the importance of the Mishkan. Right? Not like, Hashem didn't have anything else to write, so he has to expand on the same thing over and over. Imagine the most difficult mitzvot of the Torah is in one line. Tefillin, it's very complicated mitzvah. It's not so easy to write it, to fix it, to wear it. One line. The rest is Torah Sheba'al Peh, it's oral Torah, right? Shabbat, Hashem keeps saying keep Shabbat, but the details are not written here. Yom Kippur, 4 lines, 5 lines, the whole thing. And we have 25 hours. It's such an important, mitzvah. Gittin, another very complicated, mitzvah in the Torah, but to do, had to write a get, Jewish divorce, very complicated. Shouldn't talk about it, right? 1 line, it's like 2 lines, that's it. All the details you have to learn from the 2 lines, the Gemara in Gittin learns. But the Mishkan, Hashem wants to talk about it a lot. Why? Because that should be the theme, the main focus of Jews, holiness. Mishkan is a connection to Hashem, so that should be very, very important to us. It should be the talk of the week, what we are doing, what we're accomplishing. So now, I wanted to share something beautiful from Rabbi David Feinstein. One of his Talmidim is writing what he said for many years in his yeshiva in Manhattan, Tiferet Yerushalayim, right? Rabbi Moshe has 2 sons, 2 yeshivot, one in Staten Island, one in Manhattan. Rabbi David Feinstein ran the yeshiva in Staten Island, in Manhattan. Rabbi Reuven Feinstein, still alive, Baruch Hashem, is in Staten Island. So before I share with you, there's a very interesting Siforno here, unbelievable Siforno. Siforno says that why did Hashem have to write down every single point in this parasha? Many parashiot who did it, Moshe was commanded to do. There is a I guess discussion what Pekudei means. Pukad or Pekudei. A few times they have Pekudei. Pekudei means counting. Minyan, like counting, could be commandment, could be what you lose, right? Shel lo nifkat mimenu ish. Have you lost any soldiers or not soldiers? So bring the same language. So we talk. Rabbi David talks about the language of Pekudei. But so Moshe was commanded. Then he asked Itamar to run it. Itamar was the vice president of the whole operation. Then we have Bezalel ben Uri ben Chur. Bezalel was a general contractor. His, his help was Aholiav ben Achisamach from Dan, and the Torah says every single, item that was donated and how much was donated and how much was left over. So Sifono says that every single item in the Mishkan was so important that Hashem had to call them by name. The package deal, appliances, no. Every single item has to be mentioned by God. Hashem has to say, we have Aaron Ha'edut, we have Shulchan, we have the menorah, we have the curtain, we have the walls, we have the luchot they put in there. Who is going to do this, who's going to do that, who put it up, who was the main contractor. Hashem has to spell out every single detail of the Mishkan. They're very, very important.
That's where he resides.
Right, but we don't see this by Beit HaMikdash, and we don't see this by second Beit HaMikdash. On the Mishkan, Hashem is very meticulous with every single detail. So this unbeliever Siforno says that first of all, because the items of Mishkan were so holy, they never got destroyed. Ask CIA or Mossad, where are the items? Can you find them?
I don't know where they are, but they're not destroyed.
And not only the items were not destroyed, the zechut of the items are never destroyed, never gone. Gemara learns, she'omdim le'olam olmo olamim. They stand forever. Not only that, no enemy took part of it. We don't know where they are, but it's not in Vatican, it's not in Europe, it's not in Asia, it's not in Africa. Nobody got possession of it.
So in the time of Mashiach, that would bring up maybe?
Bezat Hashem. So it says that if you look at the Nevi'im, Nebuchadnezzar Nuzardan, who took part of Beit HaMikdash, as a trophy home, it doesn't mention anything from the Mishkan. They couldn't touch anything from the Mishkan. Whatever Shlomo HaMelech made, they took with them, right? Or later on in the Beit HaMikdash, whatever they built, unfortunately, were stolen from us. Maybe those stuff are in Vatican or somewhere. But whatever Moshe Rabbeinu did, they couldn't touch it. They were so holy. Right? The zechut stays forever. Now, why? He says that's why the Torah has to say by details. He says that the first one, the Mishkan, which are 5 Parsha, talk about it. The commandment came from Hashem. The one who got the commandment, Al Pukat Al Pi Moshe Rabbeinu, the holiest, the holy person in the world, he got the commandment. Who made it? Leviim, Itamar, son of Aaron HaKohen, Bezalel, Aholiav, all holy Jews, right? Did they hire any Mexican to build a wall, a Mishkan? There was none around. The only holy Jews building every part of the Mishkan, right? So it says that all the jobs of Mishkan and the vessels, they were the miyuchasim, the most, how do you say miyuchas? Miyuchas is somebody who, the lineage, his father, grandfather, great-grandfather, everybody, a very famous family. Ashrafi. Attributed people. Tzaddikim, righteous people of the generation. That's why Hashem's Shekhinah came in that house, Mishkan, and never our enemies took part of it. That's it. The holy of the holy. But now, let's go to the second temple, which is second construction, which is the first temple. Shlomo HaMelech. We have Mishkan, Beit HaMikdash Rishon, and Beit HaMikdash Sheni. Right, the Mishkan that Moshe Rabbeinu did. Shlomo did the second construction, which is the first main temple, and later on, Ezra Sofer made the second temple, which is the third construction. So listen to this. Shlomo HaMelech made the second one, but the workers came from a country called Tur, maybe some part of Iran or Yemen. I don't know where exactly Tur is, but they came to work there. So Shekhinah came. Listen to the second big observation of Sipono. You never see any part of the Mishkan being repaired. I don't know how you do it. The Shulchan, the menorah were intact for the whole, almost 400 years. Why? Something has to break, maybe part of gold, chips out. Nothing happened to it. It was so holy that nothing would, no damages. For 400 years, full insurance, nothing happens. But Shlomo kept repairing his house. It's called Bedek Habayit. Bedek Habayit means to repair, Look at the wall, get dirty, scratches, things go wrong, things don't work. You have to repair. Shlomo HaMelech had to repair. Shekhinah came because Hashem told Shlomo to build it. David and Shlomo they built it. But because the workers were not all holy people, unfortunately, the Kedusha is a bit lower. And in the end, enemies took control. But unfortunately, they took part for themselves. The second Beit HaMikdash, which is the third construction, it was the lowest part. Why? Because the
ordered by Cyrus.
right, the Koresh was the commander. He told Jews go build it, and they didn't have the luchot anymore. He says that they were already hidden, right? They didn't have that, we have the tablets only once. I mean, Moshe wasn't around to get the tablets anymore. So second Beit HaMikdash didn't have the luchot. And before the destruction of Beit HaMikdash, the luchot were hidden, right? Enemies took part of Beit HaMikdash, but they couldn't take the luchot with them because they weren't there. So when they rebuilt the Beit HaMikdash, they only could rebuild whatever they could, but the luchot they couldn't. It's still hidden. So there were no Levim working there, right?
No holy.
And whoever did it were just goyim who built the whole thing. So holy people were not involved. So that's why it says that in the second Beit HaMikdash, Shekhinah never dwelled over there. I guess the highest level of Shekhinah never dwelled over there. So now, but Sifono says the first Beit HaMikdash, the first Mishkan was the highest level. And it goes down by each construction. But it says the amount of gold and silver double, triples, goes much higher. All the gold that the Torah reports this is Parsha is very minimal compared to the gold that Shlomo HaMelech used for the Beit HaMikdash. And that is even much less than the second Beit HaMikdash, with the Hordos made it very, very beautiful. There was somebody who donated a lot of money to Beit HaMikdash. They brought the best, bricks, the best, Avnei Sheish, the best stone they could find, the best gold in the world they brought to Beit HaMikdash. But Shekhinah, or the level of Shekhinah is not there. So he says, what you see in this parasha was davar mu'at, very little thing, compared to the wealth that Shlomo HaMelech put in the Beit HaMikdash, and the Hordos even made it much more beautiful. So, but Hashem's presence was only in the Mishkan of Moshe Rabbeinu. Why? So he says from here that the amount of wealth and the size of a building is not a reason for Hashem's Shekhinah to come down. Right? שלא כספת העושר וגודל הבניין יהיו סיבה להשרות שכינה בישראל. אבל רוצה השם את יראיו. Rather, Hashem wants people to fear him and what they do to bring his Shekhinah. Meaning, you could have the biggest temple, but it's not לפי ההלכה, it's not going to Torah. They have a microphone. There's no mechitza. Men and women are sitting together, talking lashon hara, Hashem says, that's why we want my Shekhinah to come here. I don't want that. I rather a small shul, right? But according to the Torah, according to the halacha. Exactly. That's what you try to do, bring the Shekhinah down, right? So here, Abe, Sifono says you could have the biggest temple in the world, but the Shekhinah is minimal. You could have a small Mishkan with much less gold used, and Hashem's Shekhinah is fully there. So what do you see from here? Unbelievable. People sometimes have the wrong impression. If I make this, Hashem will be much happier. Hashem says, אבל השם, רוצה השם את יראיו ומעשיהם לשכנו בתוכם. You want my Shekhinah to come you? Do what I want to. Right? That's Hashem's guarantee for Shekhinah to come. So that's why the first one, even though it was much smaller, was a higher level of Shekhinah. I remember when we were remodeling the shul here, I had a contractor do it for us. And then the Israeli guy, Yahel, he jumped in, he took the brush, he said, I want to paint the outside. He said, I want to also have a part in the Beit HaMikdash, in Bet Knesset. So I was so impressed by that. I said, I'm going to do a part. So he did the roller, and he was back of his wall, he was rolling the paint. So I want to do part of it and Mikdash with Knesset. This is exactly what how can you have everything by Jews? It's very almost impossible. Every brick should be made by a Jew. Every wood has to be cut by a Jew. Every tile has to be put by the Jew. That's how Mishkan was built. Everything was by a very very holy level.
ببخشید ربا یه سوال شد قبل از این چیز گفتید که that's Hashem's guarantee for the Shekhinah to come down. چی؟
If everything is done the way Hashem wants, right? If according to Torah, according to Halacha, then Hashem brings this Shekhinah.
That was for then. برای الان چی؟
What's it?
What can we do now to bring his Shekhinah مثلا into our home, into our lives, to be applicable to now?
Yeah, if you do things according to what Hashem wants, if you follow Hashem's commandments, following Halacha, there's no other way to bring Shekhinah. If you invite a king to your house, you want to show that I'm doing what you want. And when you do it, then say, please come to my house. I made the house the way you like to see. So that's Siforno's take on the size and construction of the three temples, Mishkan, Beit HaMikdash Rishon, and Sheni. Now, Rabbi Feinstein has a few beautiful insights as well. He says that he talks about Pekudei, what Pekudei means. Pekudei could mean counting, right? Because when Hashem wants Moshe to count Jews, he said Tifkedu, count them. Pekudei also means commandment, appointing someone to do something. That's also lifkod, to appoint someone to do it. Also, he says Pekudei means losing, right? When Jews went to a war, he said "Velo nifkad mimenu ish." Nobody was lost from them. So he says also Pekudei over there.
But that may have to do with the counting.
Right. When you count, first you count what exactly you need. You need this, you need that, right? You have a list of all the items you need. So now he says the other side of the coin is what you're losing, what you're missing here. We need another, 5 pounds of gold, another 10 beams of wood. So another thing he says is that when Hashem commanded to build the Mishkan, he wanted things to stay the way they are. For example, we learn from the Mishkan what you're not allowed to do on Shabbat. Where in the Mishkan do you see you're not allowed to write? You had to write, that's why you cannot write on Shabbat. They cooked. That's when you cannot cook. They turn on fire. Cannot turn on fire. They did construction. They did painting.
Right.
You cannot do on Shabbat. Whatever they did, the main jobs of construction. Where do you see riding on Shabbat?
The writing on Kohen.
Very good. But that's that was the engraving in the gold or in diamond. Right there is engraving. But to take a pen, pencil or ink and write. What do you see in the Mishkan? The Gemara has a few sources. The main source it says was let's say you had to make the walls, right? The walls were all beams, wood,
Right.
and under the beams there were sockets of silver. So they wanted to know, let's say 50 amot, 50 beams on one side and 50 other one, Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Wav, and the sockets would write, this is the socket for Aleph, 2 sockets for Aleph, 2, silver, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, and the other one here.
To keep count.
They keep count also, they keep the order. So who cares? When I put them, take them apart, I can put them back on. Whatever comes, it comes. Hashem wanted the first, second, third, fourth, fifth to be in order, right? Meaning you cannot, change from this side to other side, or the first to the fourth, or the fifth, or the north to the south. With the sides are the same.
Once they set at one place, it has to keep going.
That's why you have to write the letters to match, right?
Even though the size was the same.
Everything was the same.
Everything was the same.
The material was the same. Made was the same,
Order
right?
had to stay the same.
But order has to stay the same. So that's how we learn writing. They wrote to make sure these things stay the way they are. So he says, I would have said that writing on the stones, that's also writing. It's engraving, but it's also writing. Maybe that's the source, but Gemara does not go with that. Gemara goes with the fact that they wrote on the beams where they belong.
The stones were spoken.
Right, and also the ephod, and also the forehead of Kohen Gadol. There were writings, at least 24 names, 12 and 12, right? And then 26 names, right? Another 26. So he says that a person, when Hashem gives a tafkid, it comes from Pekudei, tafkid is a job, a mission. Hashem wants him to keep it. Don't change around. There's an idea that when someone becomes a Rav, you don't take that position away from him. Nowadays, no one gets a lifetime Rav position. But it used to be a Rav, the board would not fire the Rav of a shul, because maybe there was no board at the time. But the Rav would become a Rav because you give him a job, you give him a shochet of the town. So with shechita, you always, unless he cannot do the job anymore, right? Who is next? After he's done, his son will take over. Why? If Hashem gave that job to that family, keep it. One of the places that we learn from is the Mishkan. If Hashem put that beam there, let it be there. That's his tafkid. That's Pekudei. That's the appointment of that beam. Let it be there, right? Whatever job you give somebody, don't take away unless you cannot. If the Rav's son, God forbid, is not doing, he's not Shomer Torah mitzvot, you don't give Rav anymore. If he's not qualified, obviously he's not qualified. But in ideal society, that's his job. It says about Kohen Gadol, everybody, whoever got a job, in a holy job, appointment, right? You should not remove from him or his children. So that's what Pekudei means. Hashem's, Hashem gives you something, keep going with it. Do the best out of it, but keep going. Don't change around. I think in general, it's a very important lesson in life. Don't, what Gemara says about Sukkah? It says that, it says, Meshabech ani et atzlanim. I praise the lazy people, because they sit in the Sukkah, they don't leave. But some people cannot sit down, always running around. You leave Sukkah, you miss the mitzvah. So stay there. So I'm very lazy. It's good. I like it. Because I like the lazy people who don't leave Sukkah. It doesn't mean that it's good to be lazy. It's very bad to be lazy. But it's good to keep up what you're doing. Some people jump around too much. in life. Everything they have to change. Unless somebody's doing really a wrong direction. He wants to go north, is going south. Okay, change, move around. Change around, turn around. But otherwise, a person should. I was once talking to a stock market advisor. He said so many people change their stocks too much. I told many of them, don't look at the stock market. Leave it. They would be multimillionaires now if they had left it the same past 20, 30 years. But every day they had to change around. Oh, no, you got something, keep it, move on, work on it. Any job, any field, Okay, now someone has a store, it doesn't sell anything. Okay, maybe you have to change your store or your job, but keep at it. When you are consistent in something, things will go better. Will come back. There's an idea of customers go back to wherever they started off, the original price. Maybe they go up for a few months, but the idea is you go back. So Hashem is saying that keep whatever you're doing, keep up the job. Don't change around too much, unless you're doing in a very wrong field. We're talking about if you're doing something against Torah, for sure not good. But in general life, it's very important to stay. It's good to be consistent. There's the idea of makom kavua. Makom kavua means seat in the shul. Right? Gemara says whoever has a makom kavua, Avraham with Hashem come to help. Why? Because one of the Farshim says, if somebody sits here for a while, then goes there, what are you saying? He's saying, I daven here, Hashem didn't help you. Hashem didn't help me. Maybe over there Hashem helps me. Maybe this is better. Maybe if I choose this one, it will be better. That's not how you run your life. See where you are sitting. Wherever you are, just sit. Makom kova, set place, have a set place. Set mindset, you can't jump around. Now, if you daven two shoes, what are you going to do? Also, makom kavua means I daven here. I always daven here. This is my makom kavua. Once in a while, invite somewhere I go. But to have a set mindset, that is very, very important. So Pekudei, appoint something for someone, should stay a very long time. Another unbelievable thing he says is that, this is Parsha, the Pekudei is all about donations. But, what people donated to Moshe Rabbeinu was more than enough. Last week Parsha, the Torah said that Moshe Rabbeinu announced that enough, don't bring any more. We have enough gold, enough, everything is enough. So now, let's say if you need, you want to buy a building, with Hashem will buy a building. We need $3 million, right? There's $3 million for buying the building, and then you're gonna raise another $500,000 or something to upkeep, maintenance fees, other fees. Let's say Oshu gets lucky and you do raise $3.5 million for a $3 million building. Which money is going to be spent for the building? Which money is going to be spent, for upkeep, paying workers, paying this? How do we differentiate? Everything's the same account, right? Obviously, which money is more important? Which part is more important? The one that you had to spend to actually buy the shul, build the shul, right? The rest is leftover. So here's a long piece. The main thing he says is that if you are very lucky, your money gets spent for the main part of the shul. Brings down Mishnayot in Shekalim or other places that says that there were holy people, like in Rabbi Gamliel's household, when they wanted to give Truma, or Mechizat Shekel, they would go exactly when they wanted to take the money to spend it. I want my money to go there. With the last minute, not after the timeline. They wanted the money to be exactly used, not to be in a leftover. Right? Too early, they would take a bunch of it, but my money would be down in the box, will not be used up. If I go late, you already did what they already spent the money what they needed to spend. They would go exactly when the Gabbai, the one in charge wanted to do. They would go like, yeah, take my money and put it right now, because they wanted the money to exactly be used for whatever the project was. Not the leftover, not too early, not too late. So it brings down a very famous story from Rabbi Chaim Volozhin. Chaim Volozhin was, could call him the first Rosh Yeshiva of the current yeshiva movement. What he did was he established the yeshiva system. 200 years ago, 300 years ago, obviously, yeshivot from the time of Gemara. But what was the yeshiva? You go to a place of learning, the Rosh Yeshiva, the Rabbanim, and you learn. Whatever you have questions, you go ask the Rav. There's no set schedule what people do. Go do what you want. Either in place of learning, open a Gemara, you have a question, go to this Rav, to that Rav. Rabbi Chaim said it's very hard because people need a schedule, right? Our generation needs a schedule. I asked Rav Gon Mevilna, he said, yeah, you could do it. So he said, you come, let's say, I don't know when they started the yeshiva, the zaman, the time, the semester, it's Elul. Usually most yeshivas begin at Elul. You come Elul, this year we're learning Gittin. You come to our yeshiva, you learn Gittin. You're all learning the same thing, right? Or another yeshiva started, we were doing, Bava Kama, Bava Metzia, Sanhedrin, whatever. He decided that it can't be whatever you like, whatever the yeshiva likes. And that's how, I guess every yeshiva in the world runs. Unless they have different programs, but they all have a mainstream Gemara. That's what they're going to do. And, there are other times of the year you could do whatever you like. But you have to learn. When you come to yeshiva, you learn what we tell you to learn. That was Rabbi Chaim Volozhin. And he basically he brought a whole new thing to the world. Now you have a big yeshiva system. People learn a lot because of that method. Now all the yeshivas have to coordinate. Let's say there's a young yeshiva and an older grade yeshiva, and let's say in Israel, right? There are a bunch of students coming back to America. They coordinate what masechet you learn this year in Israel and what you do in America, because they want to learn the same thing over and over. So let's say if you want to learn Gittin next year, please don't teach Gittin this year in Israel, because it's something else that should be new for people. So it's a lot of coordination between the yeshivot in America and Israel, even between the same city. My son is 8th grade going to 9th grade. They coordinate, because whatever the 9th grade wants to teach, they can't be teaching 8th grade here. Could the same Gemara, but it's going to be very hard. Even though it's going to teach them more stuff or new stuff, but still, they want something fresh. So there's a whole yeshiva system nowadays. But Chaim wanted to expand the yeshiva, so he had fundraisers, let's call them, right? Go around and collect money. The fundraiser comes to Rabbi Chaim, and Chaim says, I can't raise too much money because I have to walk all over. I don't have a wagon. I don't have this, a horse, a wagon. I have to get rides from people. I can only go, 5 minutes away, 10 minutes, half an hour away. If I buy a, horse and a thing and a wagon, sus v'rechev, I can go maybe 50 miles away, 100 miles away. I can raise more money. I buy a nicer suit, I wear a nice tie. People will give more money. They see it. So, okay, sounds like a good idea. Yeshua should pay you for your cost. So he's going around to collect money, and there's one person who always gives a good amount of money. He says, I'm not giving you the money. Nothing this year. Well, you're my big supporter. Says, no.
Because you changed the way you attended.
No. He comes back to Rabbi Chaim. So Rabbi Chaim, I collected money, but that guy didn't give me money. I said, what did I do wrong that he's not giving money? You have the same issue, everything's going perfectly. So Chaim goes over to his house, knocks on the door, and says, who? So I'm going to give Rabbi, sorry, I'm going to give you the money. You don't have to come over to my house. That's not my question. Why didn't you? And I'm not here to take the money. I'm here to ask you what wrong did we do? They stopped giving money. He says, honestly, Rabbi, I want my money to go through yeshiva only. Right? Every time your fundraiser came to my house, I saw he's alone or he's getting a ride. So I know my money is not being spent on a nice car, a nice wagon, a nice horse, and it's going to go spend for the yeshiva purposes. Now this guy is spending a few $1,000s for these things. I don't want to go there. I stop giving. I want my money to go exactly for the yeshiva purpose only, not the fundraising efforts. So Rabbi Chaim told him that you're right. I hear you. So he says, and this is Parsha. I had heard a different version of it, but here he says, "La'asud b'zahav v'kis v'nechoshet." Mr. Bezalel knew to do bazahab with gold, with kesef, with silver, and with gold. The bazahav also means inside of the gold, right? So what does that mean? He could do inside the gold something. He said, Bezalel had a Ruach HaKodesh. Look at the gold and say, this gold has very good kavanah. It's going to go for, I don't know how I do it. Go for the holiest one. The box of the 2 tablets. This gold, not such a good kavanah. Put him something less important. Put him for menorah. Put him for shulchan. This is very bad. Put him outside. He could differentiate between what money came in and what kavanah the guy had. Right? I heard the phrase of lachshov machashavot. You know how to think of the thoughts, which over there it doesn't mean thought, it means how to sow things. Choshev also means sewing, techniques. But anyways, whatever he got it, Rabbi Chaim, he said it means that Bezalel could differentiate between money and money. It's an unbelievable thing. He could put all the gold together or put all the money in the account. But he says Bezalel could do it. He said, if you have a very good kavanah, now we don't have Bezalel, I'm not Bezalel, Rav Chaim said, but Hashem will count for you that your money is being spent for the yeshiva necessity only. People who don't have such a good kavanah, or their money is not so kosher, or there are different motives they are giving, Hashem counts for other efforts that it needs to be done for the yeshiva, right? But Pekudei Mishkan was, one of the appointments of the Mishkan was, one of the counting of the Mishkan was to differentiate between excellent, very good, good, fair, less good, so. Obviously, everyone had wanted to, donate to Mishkan, but not every kavanah is the same. But that was part of Bezalel's job, to differentiate between what the gold, where the gold is going to. Now, but the point that really impresses me is a lot that, what part of the Mishkan you want to be used? You want to be a leftover guy, or with the actual, the building, the construction, the needs? So a person should be very smart. Where I'm going to spend my money to, and where I'm going to donate to. I want it to be the best usage out of what I can do. Another very important thing, to end with this, 9:30 Baruch Hashem, is that he says, he talks about engraving. He says that in the engraving, how they brought a special worm called the shamir, right, to engrave. He says that the gold or the diamonds that they put in there, they had to write names. Each diamond represents the quality of the 12 Shevatim. The type of the diamond says what the Shevat is all about. It's a very big chachma. But anyways, he says that after engraved, there was nothing lacking from the engraving. Meaning, usually when you chip something out, you're basically decreasing the amount. It was 1 ounce, now it's 0.9 ounce because you wrote something, you engraved inside.
Right.
But there was a miracle happening every time the Shamir walked on these letters. They went down. It showed the name, but nothing was less than the diamond. It was the exact amount that they put in originally. You think it's unbelievable?
Wow.
He says, by gold, I understand.
Was a
Gold is a metal. You could push it down and not lose the quantity.
Yeah.
But diamond is a stone. You can't push it down. You have to crack. You have to chip it. Shamir miraculously did something that would open up but not lose. You don't lose the amount. So he has a whole piece. You see that what you do for Hashem comes from Hashem only, right? Is that you're doing it, Hashem is making the miracle. But another very important point was that, a person does something fully for God, he's not losing.
He's not losing.
He's not losing.
No.
His diamond is not scratched off. He might see, I put 2 ounces of diamond there, but they wrote the whole Reuven on it. Where is the part that I took out? But still 2 ounces, right? A person should know when I give something from myself to Hashem, I'm not losing. I'm not missing that part. You might think Hashem is doing a miracle for us. It's another very important part. Do the right thing. Only you could be a tzaddik, that's all. Tzaddik will decide to do the right thing. But the right thing to be done is not you anyways. Meaning, someone says, I spent so much hours, so much time, so much talent, so much money, because, I built the mikveh, I built the shul, I built the yeshiva, I built midrash, Bikur Cholim, whatever good cause he built. Hashem says, everything I did myself. I spent $5 million. No, you didn't spend anything. It was me. I was doing a miracle. All you did was the decision making. Put in the hours for it. That's all you did. But the job done was my Shamir. I sent the worm to things, for things to happen. That's a very big learning from the diamonds that they did. And it brings proof from each thing that was nothing was missing from diamonds. Even though you ask a diamond, of course you're going to lose some parts of it. But Hashem, when you're doing it for Hashem, right? It's pukad. Everything is counted. Don't worry. You will not lose your money. You're not doing anything when you're doing it for Hashem. Pekudei Mishkan. These are the counting of the Mishkan, which is that nothing is missing. Everything is right there. Shabbat Shalom.
Baruch.
Shabbat Shalom. Merci, Rabbi.
Azak Baruch. Shabbat Shalom.